And welcome back. It is the 17th of August, high five a day, and we're just going to go straight to the first question. So the first question gives me a triangle. Notably, it's an isosceles triangle. Okay. And then it says, find the size of x. Now, I was actually a bit confused there, but of course I've realised if I drop a perpendicular down here, then actually it's just a right angle triangle, isn't it? So actually all I've got then, I'm going to redraw it over here, is I've just got a triangle where that's 11. This is the angle I need. This is 3, half of 6, because it's isosceles, so therefore I can divide it to 2, which is just cosine. So therefore it's just cos of x, which I need to find out, is equal to adjacent over the hypotenuse, which is 11, which means that x equals cos minus 1, 3 over 11, calculator out, and that gives me 74.2 degrees. Good, first question done. Next question. The price of a meal including a 22% tip is this. How much was the tip? Right, a few ways of doing this. I'm going to do this a slightly different way to how I would normally do it. I'm going to say 122% is equal to 103.70. And I need 22%, which is the tip. So in order to get from here to here, I multiply by the thing I need divided by the thing I start with. So let's do the same thing here. So multiply this by 22 over 122, and that gives me £18.70. Good question. Next one. Factorise fully. Now, what's interesting here, I like this question. The word fully is sometimes a bit of a clue that there's a couple of steps involved. And there are indeed 2 steps here, because on the face of it, that's not a square number and that's not a square number. However, both those numbers divide by 3, don't they? So if I take a 3 out, that leaves me with 4x squared minus 25y squared. And suddenly this is not too bad, because I know this is difference of 2 squares, which is 2x minus 5y and 2x plus 5y. And that's question done. Actually not as bad as it looks, is it? But obviously quite hard if you don't spot the 3. Next question. The line passing through the points this and this is perpendicular to the line passing through. So this involves you remembering that if m1, so gradient 1, times gradient 2 is minus 1, therefore they are perpendicular, or just using the negative reciprocal. So let's calculate the gradient of the first line. So that's going to be minus 6 minus 3 divided by 8 minus 5, which is the same as minus 9 over 3, which is minus 3, which means the perpendicular gradient to that is going to be plus a third. And I know I need that equal to c minus 2, in other words, the change here, divided by 2 minus minus 1, which is 2 plus 1. So in other words, 1 over 3 is equal to c minus 2 over 3. Now, multiply both sides by 3, and the 3 goes away. So that just means that c minus 2 is equal to 1, which means that c is equal to 3. What does it want me to do? Find c. I found c. Question done. Next question. Find the length of DF. Now I've got a triangle. Now, a comment I make every now and then. This is often the last topic taught in many schools, so you may not have come across this yet, but there's something called the cosine rule. And I'm just going to write it out, and that tells me that x squared is equal to the other 2 sides squared and added together, so 18 squared, minus 2 times the other 2 sides multiplied together, times cos of the angle in between, which is 37. And if I put that into my calculator, I get 125.324. In fact, I will write that down. So 125.324, blah, 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 blah. Now that's still in my calculator. So if that's x squared, take the square root of that. So calculate with the square the answer. And that gives me 11.19486, otherwise known as 11.2 centimeters to 3 sig feet. Now, in your exam, I will need to see at least one working step to show that you haven't just rounded it incorrectly. But either way, that is question done. And again, another decent mix of questions, some we haven't seen before. Let me know how they went for you. Do like, subscribe, and I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks all.